Omega. See if Cog has made it through. Do you have any updates on that?
I do not. I'm looking at the brackets currently, and so far we are the only one. Yeah, we are the only ones still here. As in, like, finished with the semifinal game because
Okay.
that wasn't too long of a game. I mean, cognitive and return could be in a 9 or 30-minute game, and they could have started possibly later than us. So we could still be waiting to see what results of that game are. But yeah, go ahead and talk about the
It
tournament.
is confirmed now. Cog did make it through, so we're going to see a down to Frag versus Cog finals here. And let me get this set up, Shadow Boy. You can continue talking. And what do you think we're going to see from these teams?
You know, it's the first round of the finals, and what I always like about that is the fact that both teams are either going to do one of two things. They're either going to pick very passively and kind of just play out this, we're overall going to be good in lane and team fights. So you're going to see, like, traditional pickups, Apollo need, just things to set up kills, not do anything too outrageous, not anything that's going to all of a sudden just break the mold of the meta, or they're going to completely destroy the mold of the meta and say, screw everything that you all have been doing so far. We're going to throw something completely wild at you, so you're going to be caught off guard, and we can safely and not safely, easily take this first win because you're so caught off guard. So that's what I like about the finals here. What I'm hoping is that one of the teams elects to do option B. But what's actually going to happen is both teams are probably going to do option A because both teams are very seasoned veterans. They both know what they're doing. They both, have a lot of experience in tournament settings. So they really want to just kind of feel each other out as far as where these games are going to go.
Yeah, why don't you drop a spectate onto one of the players there? And I gave both teams the go-ahead, so we're going to pass it over to Waiting Sure while we wait for these teams to get in game. And either way, this is going to be an exciting finals. We have both teams in chat here, and this is going to be good. All right, we are back, guys, with game one of the finals. This is exciting. Down to Frag, which we saw dominate a very well-known team in Almighty Esports last game, is going to be facing off the reigning North American champions in all of Smite Esports, Cognitive Gaming.
Oh yeah, let's get ready to rumble. I still want to see the crazy lineup out of either of these teams. I don't care who. I want to see like something so out of the ordinary.
You know, maybe
Like,
maybe they'll use this to get, maybe try something new. When it's just gyms online, and don't get me wrong, I love me some gyms, I love me some skins. Sometimes you want to try something new, maybe to bring to other tournaments or maybe even the 100K.
and we see a Freya ban, so there's something different. I think that was more of a respect ban, though. Everyone who
Yes.
remembers Anister back in the day, he used to love him some Freya. He's moved on to other gods now, but you still don't want to let Andy have Freya half the time. And so on the outside, we're going to see a Ra and a Geb ban here. Please do something crazy. Okay, Zeus, I'll take it.
Yeah, Zeus, not much other decision making there. The biggest problem being is if you don't pick Zeus, you give the enemy team Zeus and Odin there. So you're almost forced to pick either one of those gods at that point.
Yeah, and actually, they're going to go ahead and let them have Odin if they elect to pick him up, which will be interesting to see.
Yeah, Tyr
Because-
and Thanatos both can use their ults to get out of it, but that is their ult. It's not just a random ability. It's not just a jump. But will they elect to do it? Sun Wukong is highlighted.
I don't think they're going to do it, which is fine. But I just don't think they're going to do it. They are not. They're going to need and Sun Wukong here. So we're going to go ahead and see Tyr and Thanatos. We're probably going to see what MLC Stealth wants to go with here in the mid lane. He was probably waiting out, hoping that he might get a hint of what the mid laner will be. But I think they're probably going to pick him up now for MLC Stealth here. That's now that they've kind of established where they go with that. Unless Barracuda is waiting on his ADC, but oh yeah, AMC.
AMC just so good at controlling lanes right now. And Neath is actually a pretty good counter. I see it, and it is locked in. The change is made. This is one of Stealth's favorite gods to play. MLC Stealth, a very good Poseidon player, and with the changes to Poseidon, giving him a slight buff, it might be good enough to play here, as we do see the Odin, though, on the other side locked in.
Yes!
Oh,
yes,
man.
the Afro lock-in. I have no idea specifically where she's going.
Solo lane.
Probably.
I can promise you. I've played against Snoopy's Little Cupid in ranked before. He loves this Afro solo lane. And, it's really going to help Odin or Zeus stay alive in these teamfights. But Naja highlighted.
Support Naja OP.
I don't know.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
In normals, though, I've never actually seen it in a competitive scene. It is going to be Bacchus. We're getting trolled. We're getting trolled.
You let me down. I should have done it just to be a troll in the first place.
All right, we are going to see, though, that Tyr in the solo lane. Very standard lineup coming out from Cog outside of the Poseidon pick. But that Aphrodite in solo lane, why don't you talk about why you like this?
Why do I like it? I like it not because it's something I play a lot, but I like to see people try and make Aphrodite one of the better characters to play. So a while ago, Aphrodite was considered probably one of the worst characters in the game. But what people neglect to talk about is she has some amazing heals. She has really good early clear. She has amazing sustain. She has a stun, invincibility, and a back off that does a pretty decent amount of damage. All in all, it's very hard to kill an Aphrodite lane. When you're up against an Aphrodite solo lane, you're not looking to get a kill. At that point, you pretty much are just like, if the jungler's not here, we're sitting ducks. This is just a farm lane. And so that leaves Aphrodite the opportunity to get to a point where when team fights start happening, she can pick a target. And in this situation, it could be Odin, it could be Zeus, depending on how the initiation starts out. And she can just be a permanent battery pack of life and goodness for that particular person. If I
Battery
need
pack.
to give you, yes, if I needed to give you an example, it would probably be a pocket medic from TF2. Those of you who play Team Fortress 2 understand what I'm saying. Basically, this is a person who hangs on the ankles of the person. I was about to say something else. The ankles of the
Let's
person.
not say that now.
Yeah, the ankles of the person and never lets them die. They will never die, ever. And that's exactly how this works out. So I love to see that kind of style.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too. Something we don't see often, and I actually want to talk about the matchup in solo lane against Omega playing that tier. What this is going to be able to do is Snoopy's little Cupid on this Afro is going to save the stun until Tyr starts his his Fearless when he tries to group up the minions, and it's going to cancel it out, which is really going to limit what he's able to do in lane. In addition to that, he's going to be able to out-sustain Tyr. The heal is just so strong, and as long as Tyr doesn't take the fight to him early, I think he wins this lane.
Him being her or her being...
Excuse me. Aphrodite should win this game if played properly. I believe. That is my opinion on it. But let's throw it over to waiting screen. Gonna put on some music. Let's get us set up for this match. Gonna be another great one, guys. I know I've said it a lot, but this is true this time.
This time.
Alright, guys, we have game one of the finals about to start. Down to Frag versus Cognitive Gaming in the blue. We are going to have Down to Frag Aurora in the jungle on Odin. We're going to have Rambozo playing middle Zeus. We're going to have Failure by Design on Neath in that dual lane, supported by Sun Wukong, played by Miniparn, and rounding it off, that Afro that Shadow Boy loves, Snoopy's little Cupid in the solo lane.
And over in the red jerseys, we have Cognitive Gaming. If you aren't familiar with them, you have not been watching the Saturday tournaments. On the lineup, we have Barracuda playing AMC. We have MLC Stealth playing Poseidon in the mid role. We have Dare to Care playing Bacchus in the support role. We have Anderster playing Thanatos in the jungle. And we have Omegatron, a.k.a. Omega, a.k.a. Icon has Omega Please, in the solo lane playing Gear.
MLC Omega is also another alias of Omega.
Yes, he has many aliases.
Name changing every week, but let's see. We're not going to see a Hunter Bow start here. We're going to see a Heartseeker from both ADCs. Both of these gods are very good at clearing lanes, so they really don't need the extra damage coming out from those Hunter Bows. They want to start that stacking early and get more damage.
Yeah, I definitely want to go ahead and try and get an early start onto a lot of damaging items. And, you know, one thing interesting to note here is actually going to be the tier is electing to go outright for a sustaining build with the Stone of Gaia. I've seen some people who up against a character like Aphrodite who were like, you know what, all or nothing, and elect to go for something like Heartseeker or Death Toll with a couple of actives and a lot of pots. So it's really interesting to see that Omega's actually going to go ahead and just try and just out-sustain her.
Yeah, and we actually have a little bit of a different start here. They 3-manned mid harpies and then went to blue. They actually have left that red up here. You see it just chilling there. Nice.
And actually, Bacchus is going to get very low here. His Neath is going to go ahead and try and pluck him down a little bit. AMC as well. And it looks like they're going to go ahead and just elect to disengage here. But a good start up here by the goal lane to try and put a lot of pressure on.
Yeah, but they didn't steal the buff, and that's going to give Barracuda and Dare to Care that extra half a level lead, which made them level 2 there, as you saw, Failure by Design just hitting 2. Very unfortunate, though, coming out that they weren't able to steal it, but we do have Bacchus taking a lot of poke. He needs to be careful.
Yeah, meanwhile, over in the soul lane, Anister is actually the one who's very low here, as both Aphrodite and Odin are going to go ahead and do the red buff. Aphrodite being that nice little pocket medic I was telling you about, and giving her Odin just that little bit of extra healing to make sure that he gets out of this camp relatively well off.
Yeah, we do have this dual lane on the left getting forced out, though. Barracuda, once again, getting very low. Had to be careful there. Had to, run away from Miniparn, who hit a nice stun on him. And Dare to Care, once again, getting very low, taking a lot of archer damage. This dual lane is going in favor of down to Frag right now. But over here, we see Anister getting chased out by Aurora. They're looking to secure these right harpies, I believe, and I think we're going to be passive until they spawn.
Yeah, it looks like right now what they're electing to do is just split the Harpies. So Poseidon and Thanatos actually are going to go for the left side. Meanwhile, Zeus and Odin are going to safely secure the right side. But if the members of Cognitive don't get over soon, it looks like, yes, Sun Wukong is actually able to take both of them. I don't know why exactly he went towards the members of Cognitive Gaming, but he was able to draw out a Poseidon ultimate. So that's a nice little relief for the Zeus in mid lane.
Yeah, so I'm actually a little confused by that. MLC stealth through, but we do have a dive in the middle. Aurora is going to cage into Anister, and that's that Zeus combo. Anister has nothing. First blood in the way. Aurora might fall, though. We do see a stun onto Rambozo, and a stun out by MLC stealth. Miniparn stunning out MLC stealth. 2 for 1 as stealth gets a little greedy, trying to chase Aurora. You see him there sitting at virtually no health, and 2 for O exchange in the way of down to Frag. Very nice play, securing both the mid harpies, first blood, and a second kill on that mid lane.
And you gotta wonder what MLC Stealth is, what's going through his head right now as he's saying, I wonder if I had that Poseidon ultimate.
Dare to Care, though, in middle, getting dove. Miniparn looking to finish him off. He does with that somersault cloud, though. No one there to rotate in time, as Anister is trying to, however. Not going to get there in time, though.
Yeah, so definitely a very good start for the members of Down to Frag, getting 3 kills off the gate, now pushing their lead up to 1,500. So they're definitely trying to make full usage of that first blood they got and then make it into a lot more here.
And yes, chat, the cripple on Poseidon's Whirlpool has a little bit delay, and I honestly thought he had crippled him in time. I guess the tick of damage just didn't go off there. The delay just a little too long, and that's the reason that Miniparn was able to escape, and they were able to turn that into a 2 for 0 exchange. Bacchus, though, looking for a kill on failure. Not gonna stun, but the backflip's gonna cancel it out.
And actually, a failed gank attempt by Anister onto this Aphrodite here under tower. They put out a lot of damage on her, but again, Aphrodite, she just backed him off and then went about her business, just healing off like nothing had happened.
Yeah, Miniparn, though, looking for a kill on left. Barracuda gets stunned out by the knee ult and the Miniparn 70 transformations. Nice root through the rock. Backflip, not enough damage to kill, but Miniparn's going to finish him off with an auto attack there. Great play coming out from this dual lane, able to not only stop the steal, but Aurora is jumping over this wall. He wants blood. He's chasing him. Stealth. Stealth is going to back out safely there, though.
Yeah, they're playing really aggressive here. I mean, you can just see them right now taking the blue buff of Barracuda here, really denying the AMC the ability to keep up in lane with this now very well-off Neath by stealing the blue and actually giving it over to the Zeus, I believe.
Yes, it did go to Zeus there. Probably just needs a little more mana to outpush that Poseidon, but MLC Stealth taking these back harpies, just looking for the safe farm, and this is something that people need to do. Take advice from MLC Stealth here. If you're behind, if you're getting zoned, if you don't feel safe about getting farm, you know, just simply take the back harpies. Take farm that's easily and free available.
Yeah, that's definitely good advice. One thing I'd like to point out here is this Doom Orb that is now going to be started on the Aphrodite here, and that does two things. One, that allows her to start to really ramp up the damage as well as her healing capabilities. But two, that also gives her a lot of MP5 to keep her in lane even longer, especially after her blue buff was just stolen by the Thanatos while she was in lane occupied. And now we're actually going to see a slight gather up here for these right harpies as 4 members of Down to Frag are already ready, and they're going to go ahead and initiate on the Bacchus here, who's going to have 3 charges on him. He's going to be stunned here, a lot of damage coming out on him, and they separated just in time before the chain lightning could do any more harm to them. And right camps are going to easily fall in the way of Down to Frag.
Aurora going to jump on a Barracuda, get the slow. Is the ult available? Neathalt is going to hit him, and he is caged in. As the Kraken does go on to Rambozo, I don't think there's much he can do. A great play by Barracuda, hunting through the wall, and he is going to get out maybe. A great stun coming in from Anderson, going to stun out Minipern and Aurora. Aurora trying to stay alive. Excuse me, Minipern's trying to stay alive, going to try to chase down Anderson here. Gets silenced, runs back into MLC Stealth. The Whirlpool is ticking. Will he have enough damage? Gets knocked away. Does not have enough mana. He's going to look for the kill, and he's going to get it on an Anderson. Going to trade his life, though, as Dare to Care rotates in with an Intoxicate. The fights continue. MLC Stealth has no mana. Going to chase out Aurora. Meanwhile, in the left lane, we actually saw Omega use his Lawless. Not going to do anything, though, to Neath as she backflips away. The auto attacks are real. I don't think either of these players have any mana, and Aurora's going to walk out safely there. But I believe it was a 2 for 2 as Rambozo blinks in. Gonna look for a blood. Gonna stun out Dare to Care there. His ultimate is not available. It was, but I guess he thought he wasn't going to do enough damage.
Meanwhile, the whole time, Aphrodite is playing her own little RPG over here, and she could potentially get the first tower of the game, and yes, indeed she will. First tower of the game going in favor of Down to Frag, now shooting the gold lead up to 2.5k.
Yeah, 4K experience league. This is really big. I think it's most notably right now sitting on Dare to Care 2 levels behind. He only has just finished Midas Boost. He does have Shell level 1, but Minipern is securing a lot of kills, sitting at 4-1, and that's actually probably the biggest downside to the lead that Down to Frag has, is that it's all on the support at this point.
The one saving grace, if you are, and actually Anderson will fall down to the Zeus, who did a pretty good job with his ultimate. Able to get the 3 charges onto Thanatos relatively easily. But the one saving grace you have is that it's a bruiser support. So he's going to do damage. That is the one saving grace you have there. But again, as you said, it's a support. And Bacchus is actually going to ultimate here, and the Kraken is going to come out and take out both members of Down to Frag. Now there will be a dead Zeus and a dead Sun Wukong.
Yeah. Wow, that is a great turnaround, and they're going for gold here. Aurora is rotating in. I don't know if they can secure this because Bacchus is sitting only at Hog 1. Aurora's going to come in. Nothing Dare to Care could do. Actually, he's going to jump out. Had the mana. Barracuda now caught in this cage. MLC Stealth going to Whirlpool, and Anderson going to come down and actually get rooted by failure there. Great play coming out. Now Afro is also in the area. I think they're going to back off on this gold. They tried to sneak it. The rotations came in, and they just couldn't finish it off.
Yeah, once the battery pack came in, there was no taking that. But now it looks like they're gonna go ahead and try and take this blue buff actually and deny Barracuda that, and they will successfully take it and give that over to the Neath now. So all around, very good engagement by Cognitive, and very good disengagement after they nearly got caught out at the Gold Fury.
Yeah, and we have Stone Guy now finished on Omegatron. This item is actually getting a buff next patch, but it's already very strong. For those who don't know, this is a quote by ShadowQ, I believe. Maybe not a direct quote, but a close enough one. If a fight lasts more than 30 seconds, Gaia is the best item in the game because it gives you 2% of your health back every 5 seconds, in addition to, I believe, 25 HP 5. It is, I just checked, 25 HP 5. So it's very good in extended engagements, and Tyr is one of the best gods at lasting in fights.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he has so much mobility and so much just natural sustain built into himself already, so he offers a lot here. Odin is going to be in the area here. He does indeed have full blink. He does indeed have his ultimate ready. So at this mid-Harpies, we could very well see a very good engagement here, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and just let him go. They know the dangers of messing with Odin Zeus combo, and they don't feel comfortable dealing with it. Poseidon has combat blink, but it might already be down. I'm not sure on that one. Meanwhile, Odin is going to go ahead and try and go in. The battery pack is here, and here tries to go ahead and do some damage, but he's going to miss. Now they're going to go ahead and turn their attention, and it looks like everyone's just going to kind of disengage here. Thanatos is going to go up in the air to avoid any more damage and also to disengage himself. So now everyone's going to be content with just leaving that battle and kind of just awkwardly standing around like, what you gonna do?
Ramboza is gonna get stunned out and into a knockup directly into Kraken. Does he have enough to survive? He does. The heal comes out. Tyr is going to try and dive him. Honey's not gonna be enough, but the stinger is going to be juked. Great play by Ramboza there. Now we see the continued fight happening in the front line. Aurora, a great root once again coming out. Barracuda very low, and the Zeus ultimate is going to put Omega and Barra in a bad spot. That's a 2-for-0 exchange. Pennypern tanking tower, great stun, and Anister's going to fall. 3-for-0 exchange and a middle tower. They're probably going to rotate for gold here, only losing Pennypern in the process. No, they're going for 2 towers.
I'm telling you, the battery pack is real. The battery pack is so real. We saw Zeus come out of that fight with nearly a little bit under a fourth of his health. Then all of a sudden, Aphrodite comes over and he's back up to about 3/4 of his health. More than enough health to feel comfortable enough to come up with his ultimate, and now they're going to go ahead and start harassing this Bacchus now, and they're going to go ahead and disengage here, and it doesn't look like they're going to pick up the Gold Fury or any of the enemy buffs. They're just going to go ahead and just back by and really start to build up into those key items.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong here. Everyone on Down to Frag is playing amazingly right now, but Pennypern is hitting stuns perfectly timed. Perfectly stunning out people that need to be stunned out when Chain CC is ready to follow up or right after another CC has ended. So shoutouts to him right now for playing an amazing game. But the game is not over yet. 5,400 gold lead, 6,600 experience lead. Down to Frag's looking very good here. And like you said, the battery pack coming into play, saving Zeus there, allowing him to continue that fight. But Cognitive's going to start this gold tier. It's already low. Hog 1 only available. Derek Hare is going to get blown up. The Kraken is going to go on Pennypern. Pennypern is going to hog and secure it, though. Derek Hare going to fall to Neath there in the back. We actually see Anister in the air as Barracuda falls. He's going to land back down. Kraken is not available anymore. We're actually going to see Aurora jump in. A great 3. Going to stun out 2 people. He's going to trade his life, but it's worth 2 for 1 because of the slow. Meanwhile, Omega in solo lane is going to get a tower, but a Gold Fury and a 4 for 1 down to Frag, showing they are not afraid of Cognitive Gaming here in Game 1 of these Parabellum finals.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to put their dominance into this game. They didn't want to leave any impression that they're just gonna fall asleep. And right now, I gotta say it, the battery pack is just doing work. It's just keeping teammates going, keeping these extra objectives within range. She's really making it possible to go for that second tower.
The stuns are real, though, as Derek is once again going to fall in left lane. The Stinger is going to hit failure by design, but the root, just not enough. Pennypern's trying to decide if he wants to engage on this, but with everyone having just spawned, I don't think they want to. They really want the tower, but is it worth it? They're going to say, no, they got enough for the trade. Why risk getting a tower if they could possibly get 3-man wiped there?
Yeah, very mature call there by the members of Down to Frag to just say, look, we got a couple kills, we got a lot of gold, let's just go ahead and back off. And I just want to seriously, I know I've been beating the dead horse here, but seriously, look at the player healing on Afro. Nearly 7K. Now, I know a lot of that's on herself, but dear God.
I actually don't think healing yourself counts as healing, if I'm correct. In the player stats. I believe self-heals do not count in player stats. I can't confirm that. If anyone in chat or anyone who can would let me know there. But Down to Frag playing amazingly, just like last game. taking an early lead and grinding it out. They just keep getting more picks, more kills, and the Odin Zeus combo are not even the main. They're all playing good. That dual lane dominating the Barracuda Dare to Care lane, and Rambozo and Aurora having great synergy here to counter gank. And like you said, the better pick, but actually Rambozo a little caught out here. We actually see him, I don't know if he's going to be able to do everything. We actually see Anderster come down, and he is going to get knocked up into a Kraken. Aurora having to jump out. A little bit of misplay coming out there. The silence come out onto Miniperm, but the Deathlight is going to miss. 1 for 0. And they're looking for a blood. We're actually going to see Afro blinked and knocked away, but the Afro ult is going to make her immune. Kraken is down, but Cognitive is pressuring this tower anyway here. Are they going to be able to do it? Neath is charging the ult. I think they're looking for a stun combo and any squishy.
Yeah, they've already used their big gun with the MLC Stealth Poseidon ultimate, so they're probably going to go ahead and just back off here, which they did in fact do. And we have confirmation by someone in chat, self-healing does not count. So 7k, maybe a little bit over that now, 8.5k healing. Just on everybody else.
So, and you know what? While we have a chance, I want to look at builds here. We see Stealth going to build Void Stone, very standard, going into Tiny Trinket. Probably could, I don't know what that's going to be. It could be a couple varieties. It could be Polynomicon. It could be, I believe, does it build into Chronos Pendant?
You're referring to Tiny Trinket? Tiny Trinket does not build into Chronos Pendant.
No, that is the artifact, yes.
Yes. Tiny Trinket builds into Bancroft's Talon Yes. So he's going for the Bancroft Talon. Okay.
Bancroft's Talon, yep, went into the Lesser Talon. Then going to go into Bancroft's. Right now, Omega is very tanky. Doesn't have that Urchin finish, but he has no damage items outside of his boots, and he has Hog Rank 1 and Blink. Not going to do much for him until he can get his full build. But look at this left lane. Down to Frag continuing this pressure.
Yeah, and right about now they're probably looking at that left tower and deciding they want to go ahead and just take it, go ahead and knock it off the board since it's right there. Meanwhile, the members of Cognitive are hovering closer towards this fire giant. So they, it's for sure that they want to go ahead and try and get this. And actually, we see 2 wards back to back, both sentry wards by both teams, one on each individual side of the rock. If you look over the fire giant. So they have vision there, and unknowingly they both have vision there.
Yeah, great placement by both. But look at this middle lane, and nothing was happening. I went over there for nothing. But the Gold Fury is going to be spawning here in 11 seconds, and this is going to be the next point of contention.
Yeah, and right now, with Zeus ult up, with with Odin ult up, with a Blink up and available, you have to be careful about how you approach this if you're Cognitive Gaming. And actually, Sun Wukong's going to get Fearless Charge. Meanwhile, Megatron is actually in a little bit of a tight spot here as he's surrounded by 3 members of Down to Frag, and so he had to use his ultimate just to get out of there. Bacchus is going to go ahead and come in as well. So a little bit of a scary notion if you are Cognitive. Now that ultimate is down and the Gold Fury is looking a little bit more tasty if you are Down to Frag. And Tyr is just now starting to hoof his way on back. I don't know if Cognitive's going to elect to try and defend this.
Yeah, I don't think they want a team fight in the jungle right now with that Odin Zeus combo. Tyr not having his ultimate available or Blink, I believe in. That might be a smart call. A call that people... Oh, are they going for Fire Giant? They just popped Heavenly. They want to get there as fast as possible. They actually have vision and the other team doesn't, but MLC Stealth is going to smell it out here. Neath is in left, though, taking a small harpy. Was not ready for it, and Down to Frag's going to back off of that.
Yeah, they just wanted to try and ninja that Fire Giant unexpected, because if you think about it, it's a very smart call, because after you do Full Fury, traditionally what most teams would do is back. So if you don't see the enemy team on the map and you are Cognitive Gaming or any other enemy team, you're assuming that they're at base, buying, coming back to lane.
Yes.
So sneaking that Fire Giant was actually a very good call. It's just unfortunate for them, it was smelled out quite easily.
Yeah, and Minipern sitting very tanky. Finish Sovereignty, finish Bulwark. That's going to give him a ton of health. He's probably sitting at about 3,500 plus, and then he's going to be building into Light Blade. I'm assuming those are going to be Quinn size, which are going to give him a percentage of health hit on hit pre-penetration, though, so he will need some penetration if he actually wants to do damage with that.
Yeah, and looking over at the fire giant again, we see that both teams have vision on this fire giant, and I'm not sure if Daredecare is doing this intentionally anymore. I really am not sure.
It's possible. It's COG is a very good team. You have to think that everything they're doing is intentional, including, actually, especially warding, because warding is one of the biggest parts of this game, giving you vision to not only survive ganks, but gank yourself and counter gank, and it's too important to not know what you're doing with it.
Yeah, you're right there. And it looks like everyone's just kind of waiting for the opportunity here to really get the first bit at this fire giant, or at least get a pick off if you're the members of Down to Frag here. And why don't you go ahead and explain what is the best option for Cognitive in the next, say, 2 minutes?
Okay, Cognitive needs to do exactly what they're doing right now. Kind of poking any enemy that walks up. His mini print is going to look for the stun. He is going to get on Dare to Care, but he's just kind of balanced out there. Trying to get a pick here is very rough because Down to Frag is very together. They have been, except right now Snoopy is making me look like a fool over there in right lane. But they don't need to get a pick. They need to stay grouped. They need to continue farming as 5 what they're doing, grabbing any lane XP and any small camps they can, and they need to wait for Down to Frag to do Fire Giant. Down to Frag, however, doesn't need to do Fire Giant. They need to look for a pick. They need to find someone to kill and then do Fire Giant, and that's what they're doing. They're kind of trolling throughout this jungle here on the right side around Fire Giant, looking for anyone who they can stun out and get out of position.
Yeah, and being down 10,000 gold, that's probably the best option they have. 10,000 gold marker is really the marker point to where you have to start really playing carefully. Because that's a lot of items that you're down by, in essence. You look over at the members of Down to Frag, and they're down a 4th item, as they're actually going to go ahead and start Fire Giant here. They denied a little vision here, and now this is the opportunity that Cognitive might have been looking for here. They might go ahead and try and fight, but no, actually they're going to go ahead and turn their attention as so many ultimates come out. The Quacken comes out, Odin ultimate comes out, Sun Wukong ultimate comes out, Zeus ultimate comes out. 2 members of Cognitive are stuck inside, and it looks like they will be able to escape just fine. Now they're actually going to have to turn their attention over to this tier who's going to ultimate his way out of there. Thanatos is going to use his ultimate as well, and it looks like nobody's going to fall.
Aurora in a very bad spot here in the right lane as 4 members of Cognitive has collapsed, but the squad is coming back in. Miniprint is going to stun out, but Aurora does fall, and a great root on Barracuda, but he's going to blink and stay rooted. The cripple and slow taking into effect. It's only a 1 for 0 in favor of COG, and that's exactly what COG wants at this point.
Yeah, and so now you gotta start wondering, are they gonna go ahead and try and force this tower? And it looks like they will, with the battery pack on hand right now, having 13.5k player healing. It's just really hard to get them to just get low enough to stop doing these objectives.
They need to be careful here, though. I'm sorry for interrupting, but now they're going to back, and Cognitive is coming back fresh. Cognitive's going to go for the Fire Giant here if they recognize that Down to Frag has backed.
They do realize that vision is on it, so they might be a little hesitant to do it, but it does look like they want to start it. And actually, Anister here might be in a little bit of trouble here. Zeus is in full chase to try and catch him, but it doesn't look like he'll be able to, as Thanatos just popped through and was like, do-do-do-do-do.
Yeah, so what happened in that last fight there is Aurora went very deep. Right here, he actually had the perfect ultimate to give him the protections and many per the protections against the Quacken, as Down to Frag is currently doing Gold Fury. But the Quacken only got them, it maybe did like 30 to 40% of their health, which is exactly what Aurora wanted there. And, that really turned around the fight, but then they weren't able to kill anyone in the back line. That's Down to Frag, that is.
Yeah. Ultimately, they were only able to pick up somebody after their good guy Odin was stuck in the back lines, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it didn't help them to try and secure the objective they intentionally wanted. But they did, however, in the later part, secure a Gold Fury, which is now setting them up for a nearly 13k lead, which is a little scary if you are Cognitive here. So ultimately what they need to do is catch them at Fire Giant. I mean, at this point, you're not going to be allowed to farm. You're not going to be allowed to just sit there and farm without losing a big objective like a Phoenix or a Fire Giant. So you can only pick up some camps here and there, which is not going to be enough to really compensate this 13k gold lead. And you're going to have to catch down to Frag off guard.
I don't think much has really changed here outside of down to Frag increasing their gold lead. It's still putting Cognitive in the same position where Cognitive really needs to wait for down to Frag to do something and then counter engage with that Quacken pretty much comboing off of the Bacchus leap. And down to Frag right now needs to look for a pick so they can force Fire Giant without having to worry about that Bacchus and Quacken lineup, or combo.
Yeah, and definitely right now they're making full usage out of that combo. You look over and you see Zeus having 9 assists. He's really been a part of every team fight. More so noteworthy is how much of kill presence this Sun Wukong has just been. I mean, even though he is the support character, he's really started to make his presence known in the damage category, and he's got Quinn size to boot, so he's really been a backline murderer.
Yeah, he just attacked the Fire Giant. I almost want to think that he was baiting it, trying to see if they had vision of it. He's pretty deep right now, though, looking for the enemy players there. Meanwhile, we have Failure by Design pulling it, and this is a very... Oh, we do see the stun miss, or was he... I believe he was actually just connecting to Aurora there on that Odin, and they're still trolling around looking for a pick, and we actually see Omega juke out the stun here in right lane. They look like they want to kill him as Barracuda's going to rotate in, and Minipern's just going to be a front line at this point, just trying to soak up damage and do as much as he can.
Meanwhile, Thanatos is over here trying to sneak this mid tower, and he might just try and take it, or he might just back off here. But he does have his ultimate ready if he needs to bail. Actually, down to Frag is going to go ahead and start the Fire Giant here. It's already down to 3/4 of its health, and now all the members of Cognitive are present and ready to contest this. And now the turnaround by down to Frag as they bring the house, but the Zeus ultimate is going to come out onto Anister while the Quacking comes out on quite a few people. Anister's going to be the first one to fall, and now they're turning their attention onto Bacchus as they still had the lead.
Cog takes the Fire Giant, though. No one was reset it, and we actually had Minipern Hog just a second too early. Meanwhile, Aurora gets picked up as it's Bacchus and Thanatos for Cognitive, and now we actually see Minipern getting chased out here after Rambozo is picked up on that Zeus. Soupy's Little Cupid gets us out, trying to escape. Gonna do a great knockback, but it looks like Cog wants to dive here. The slow onto Snoopy's Little Cupid. The heal. Oh, but a great turnaround coming out. Now Omega getting very low. Minipern also getting very low, getting countered by Barracuda. That is a 3-for-2 trade, and they're going to keep fighting it as Afro Ult is popped. Now Barracuda has no escape with his hog down, but Omega is going to try and get this Afro before she can do anything. The back off comes out, and she's going to look for the heal. Barracuda rotates back in. Omega is going to get picked up, though, by Failure by Design. Now Barracuda's going to fall. They took the Fire Giant, but they got wiped 5-for-3, though. What a crazy fight. Once again, great play.
Yeah, just so much happening there. I mean, Cognitive made a great run after they got that Fire Giant. But just that goal deficit was just so high that they weren't exactly able to make enough happen to overall win that engagement and win that fight in the long run. They did, however, slightly dip down the goal difference, though.
Yeah, so I want to see what happened there. Was that they actually got what they wanted, okay? They started Fire Giant, and then Cognitive came to counter it, but then they jumped off the Fire Giant, but people were still in the pit, and they kept the leash. All right, they were able to kill Thanatos in the back. Rambozo doing a very nice job of juking out, and Neath, Failure by Design, was able to pick it up. As they look at Stealth, though, getting very greedy, looking for the Gold Fury steal. Down Frag is going to secure that, however. But like I was saying, I lost my train of thought because of that Gold Fury.
Gold Fury OP, please nerf.
I know, right? But that Minipern hogged just had to be a millisecond early. because after his hog, Dare to Care jumped in and hogged before any more damage was even given to the Fire Giant, pretty much. And just very unfortunate. He tried to time it perfectly and just was not able to. And
yeah, it was really unfortunate for the members of Down to Frag, because that could have very well been at least 2 Phoenixes, if not game. But because they didn't successfully keep that, Cognitive Gaming was able to turn that fight around quite beautifully, I might add, and then keep themselves well planted in this game.
Miniburn getting in a very bad spot, though. Right, sorry about that. He almost got caught out, but he's too tanky. And yeah, like you said, though, the gold lead they had really just allowed them to continue the fight even after Cog stole it.
So now at that late game point where both teams are really hitting their caps, only one side is able to really say that they're starting to have full builds, though. So that's the difference right now.
We do have an engage going on.
Looks like Anister is going to be caught out here, as a Zeus Olden ultimate was going to be used to pick up that kill here. And so now, are they going to go ahead and elect to try and push down middle lane to make something happen here? As there are still 3 members of Cognitive right next door to them in the jungle. I don't think they know it just yet, but it looks like they're going to meet. Everyone's going to meet up at this Phoenix here, so we're going to really see something interesting here. Some Kong goes up into the air, and it doesn't look like they're going to do too much to defend this, as Aphrodite ultimate comes out and prevents the Tear from doing a lot of damage to the squishies here. He's actually going to have to ultimate out, and Bacchus is going to go ahead and try and get a stun on some people, but it looks like everyone's going to have to just back out of the situation, and this mid Phoenix is, unfortunately, for the members of Cognitive, going to fall.
Yeah, and one thing to note is Down to Frag has no ultimates, while Cognitive does have the Quack and the Stinger and Intoxicate, 3 very good team fight ultimates. Minipern's going to stun out Omega, trying to body block, though. They need to be careful if they get wiped here. Fire Giant spawning in 40 seconds. Is Failure by Design is going to take a ton of damage. Quack is going to come out, not going to kill anyone, but Aurora getting very low. Minipern in the back, doesn't have his ultimate available, is going to fall. That is their hog, and this is bad because Fire Giant is spawning in 20 seconds. They did get 1 Phoenix, but the chase is on. They're going to have to back at the very least, and their hog is not available, as Rambozo is going to fall. We actually see Thanatos in the air. Will he be able to catch up and execute? Failure by Design. No, he's not. They're just going to jump onto Fire Giant. And, excuse me, Thanatos is keeping up the chase, though the silence comes out. Aurora needs to be very careful here. I don't think he knows they're all around the corner. Anister very low. The root's going to hit Barracuda. Now the blink by Tyr and the turnaround. But Snoopy's little Cupid is going to ult away safely. And Fire Giant is up.
Beautiful. That was a very beautiful ultimate by the Aphrodite to save her from taking any more damage. But unfortunately for Down to Frag, they might have to give up this Fire Giant.
They have no hog.
Exactly, they have to give it up.
Yeah, Omega just too tanky right now. Just going to be able to frontline them without being too scared. But what people have been doing recently on not only solo laners but junglers as well is picking up a second Hog 3 to contest in case your support goes down. And Aurora here electing to go Fist of the Gods. You know, Hog not a very viable pickup on Aphrodite. And I almost like to think if they had a second Hog there, they would have had a chance to contest.
Yeah, for sure. If Odin had that hog, especially considering his CC immunity during his ultimate, I feel like that would have probably benefited the team a little bit more, especially in that scenario. But at the same time, he probably had his own individual uses for that Fist of the Gods that probably helped him get a lot of those assists that he has now. So it's definitely a back and forth argument as to whether or not you would agree to having the Fist or having the Hand of the Gods. But in that particular situation, obviously Hand of the Gods would have been more appreciated. So now we're going to see Cognitive make their push to try and catch back up in this game.
Yeah, one thing I want to note, though, they did get the Fire Giant, but Down to Frag still has their safety nets in towers, and we actually see a nice blink by Omega, but Failure Design instantly going to backflip in. We actually see Afro here in a little bit of an oddball spot. She could get turned around. Oh, Omega getting very low. Will the damage come out before he can get the Lawbringer off? No! Will he get picked up? He does get picked up by Neath's auto attack. Now we see Minipern in there, going to keep up the chase. Dare to Care actually, Barracuda going to get stunned out by Minipern as he keeps the chase alive. Neath ult comes out. It does stun him. Aurora trying to chase. He's going to get the 3 off. He's going to cage. One more auto should finish him. He will fall, though. Now Anderster is going to go in the air. Does not want to fall to that Odin. 2 for 0 trade. And that is just the power of down to frag right now. That is the first time that Cognitive has been even able to push and under towered now, splitting up. Down to Frag's lead is just too much for them to handle, even with Fire Giant. As look at middle, Dare to Care is going to get picked up. That's a 3 for... Oh, this might be game. They might try to force it here. Only the Quacken ult available for him, and they are going to go for it. They're going to go for the game. As Anderster is going to get stunned out. Quacken a little early, not going to hit anyone in the center. Anderster is definitely going to fall here. MLC, the only one alive. They're not going to chase him, though. They're going to go, and this is going to be game. Down to Frag taking out Cognitive in game 1 of these finals. We still have at least one more game coming up, but wow.
That game.
That game, Shadow Boy.
And you know, I said it at the beginning of the game, I like the Afro pick. I said it during the game, I like the Afro pick. And all I can say is look at the player healing of Aphrodite.
Oh.
31,000.
My
that is incredible.
God.
That is a number that is saving so many of these team members in these fights, and not only that, but keeping them going in these fights. So once you had the lead at a certain point in the game, that Aphrodite was there to make sure that you were able to keep going further and further with that lead. Keep extending these team fights. Keep extending these objectives, taking these objectives. So you were able to continually put the pressure on with this Aphrodite as your pocket medic. And, you know, not to take away anything from the high amount of damage that Neith brought, that Zeus brought, that Sun Wukong as the support brought. But I just have to look at that 31,000 on the Aphrodite and say that they would not have been able to do as much in these team fights if not for her.
I agree. And like you said, the Afro pickup, you know what, Snoopy's Little Cupid played lights out on her, something a god you almost never see. She brought it in, and it's just so amazing. And like you said, Sun Wukong only actually 64 damage off of top damage on his team. Barracuda, though, look, going to put out 27k, the top damage by far, but the tankiness and sustain coming out because of Afro was just too much for him to handle it. And look at Afro. He had to play that perfectly. He only had Heavenly Agility, which is a 90-second cooldown, had no beads to counter the tier if he went on, and he went a very greedy build. Not only do more, but went Warlock Sash and then Hide of the Urchin, really the only defensive item, and, you know, played it very well.
And, you know, the one thing I have to say I'm really surprised about is the lack of anti-heal on the members of Cognitive Gaming. I mean, you know, not even a Brawler's Beat Stick, nothing like that. Just literally nothing. And it was just a little interesting to see, because if you look at how many times they could have nearly just wiped out the last two members of, down to Frag, it just didn't happen. I mean, just look at the death numbers of, you know, the key characters on Down to Frag. 3, 0, 1. It was just very hard to secure the kills, and I just feel like anti-healing would have helped the situation. But again, very well played, especially by MLC Stealth. The combination between Dare to Care and MLC Stealth with the bounce up into a Quack and Ultimate was just superb. It was on time. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Barracuda himself did a very good job spreading the honey as well as landing the stingers and doing a lot of damage himself. And so it was just an all-around good game by both teams. But at the end of the day, one team had to win, and it was the team that had the Aphrodite that was playing amazingly.
Yep, you called it at the beginning, you called it in the middle, and you called it at the end. Aphrodite playing amazing. And we are going to pass it over to a waiting screen while we wait for these guys to get into game 2. And we're here to get ready to bring you some more action.
lady. Cannonball!
Okay, guys, we are back in Picks and Bans in Game 2. Actually, we had Down to Frag take down Cognitive in Game 1 in a very exciting and landsliding match here. And straight off, we see once again the Respect Freya band coming out from Down to Frag. They do not want to deal with that god.
Yeah, Anaster's Freya is just tremendous. I mean, you know, back in the days when he was Root, and way back in the days when he was a 2-1-2 lane, we would just see him in lane with the Freya and just do very vicious things in lane and as well as throughout the game. So no surprise to see that Respect ban. Agony and Gab are going to be banned out by Cognitive, and I'm thinking this last ban is going to be Zhang Kui. I mean, MLC Stealth's Zhang Kui is just unreal.
Yeah, the nerf has not come through for those who don't know. Zhang Kui.
Not yet.
Yeah, next patch, which I believe is it tonight or tomorrow?
It's going to be later tonight.
Okay, so
like 4 a.m. later.
Zhang Kui will not be able to use abilities while he is ulting, but that nerf is not gone through yet, and we do see a Thanatos band. Zhang Kui available, still a very strong pick, but Zeus and Odin are also available, and we saw that devastating. I think that's what Cognitive is worried about right now. They do grab Zeus. They cannot have Down to Frag get that Zeus Odin combo once again because it was just so strong.
Yeah, it really was strong. And, definitely another thing to mention is both Omega and MLC Stealth can play a very mean Zeus. So over on the opposite side, it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to go ahead and elect to pick up Odin in response. Last game, we thought that Odin was going to be picked up by Cognitive in response to the Zeus pickup, but it wasn't. So I won't sit here and act like Odin is going to definitely be picked up by the members of Down to Frag. But I wouldn't want what I did last game to happen to me if I were them. And so Jean-Kui Odin is going to be picked up, which are two very strong characters for sure.
Yeah, very strong characters. They who they had to pick the Odin here. That was a forced pick, like you said, and Jean-Kui just too strong to not pick up here. You can't give cognitive both Zeus and Jean-Kui, and I feel like they couldn't pick anything else other than that at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And, Zeus is definitely going to go on to Estelle. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Zeus is going to go on to Omega. Ra's going to go on to Stealth. Stealth really likes that Ra pickup. And En's just going to pick up Tyr in the jungle. And that's going to be a very strong lineup. On the opposing side, we see Sun Wukong again. Now, I'm a little surprised that, they didn't pick up the Sun Wukong on Cognitive. But he will be back on Rambozo, and he will be bringing the pain again for the members of Down to Frag. Meanwhile, Neith is going to be the second pickup here. So outside of the Zeus pickup, it's pretty much the same lineup we had last game.
Yeah, but that Zeus pickup is probably the biggest one, not allowing Down to Frag to have that combo. They do have Jean-Kui Odin combo, which can be just as devastating, but Jean-Kui will have to be stuck in there with him this time. And an Honor is highlighted, something we haven't seen in a while, since AMC has started dominating the scene, and a Guan Yu, a very strong push lane coming out here. And it is going to be locked in. We haven't... Oh, I lied. It's Barracuda on Apollo.
Very strong. Very strong person with him. Yep. You could not let him have it. You just couldn't. You couldn't not let Snoopy's little Cupid have Afro.
And
so I was actually wrong. MLC Stealth is going to be playing Zeus, and Ra is going to be played by Omega.
Yeah, Ra just too strong in the solo lane. Pretty much counters everything in Zeus. Why he is so good in the mid lane is because he can test Gold Fury Harpies better than almost any other mage, because he's able to chain lightning them, and if you're standing near them, you're going to get a stack or two on you. If he gets another stack, they set up crazy kill potential looking for the detonates. Or even if he just throws his lightning on you to get the last tick and then detonate you in it, which is a very common Zeus tactic, you're in for a bad time at those mid Harpies.
So if you're Cognitive Gaming, you're looking at last game, you're looking at, what kind of happened, you're looking at the team comp, it's pretty much the same. What are you thinking?
I'm going to have to... you know what? Before we actually saw the Bacchus not work out for Cognitive Gaming, and Dare to Care loves Guan. I don't ever see him play Bacchus, but I always see him playing Guan. It's a god he is very comfortable with and something he does very well with, and I think we're going to see better play coming out from this dual lane this time, which was completely dominated in the last game. And I think that's going to be the biggest factor, is not only if they can stay relevant, but if they can control it and actually win lane this time.
Looking at the lineup, I'm actually going to say that the biggest thing we're going to notice is the change-up in the mid lane battle. Zeus is, in my opinion, a much stronger mage as far as team fighting and just overall presence than Poseidon. Poseidon,
yes,
while he does have the Quacken, or Kraken as it is originally called, it's just not as continually a threat as much as Zeus is, with just 3 basic attacks and an ability.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, and I think the biggest problem is that Poseidon was not able to get off his Quacken on who he wanted last game. Aurora was constantly just in Stell's face, forcing him to use the ultimate on him or risk death, and then he just caged it for bonus protections there. We are going to toss you over to a waiting screen, though, unless you have one more thing to say, Shadow Boy, before we get Game 2 of these finals rolling.
Aphrodite OP, please nerf.
Aphrodite OP, please nerf.
Put up the waiting screen.
Alright guys, once again we are back and ready to rumble. We have Cognitive Gaming in the blue. We're going to see Omega in that solo lane playing Raw, MLC Stealth in the mid on Zeus. We're going to see the dual lane of Barracuda on Apollo, supported by Dare to Care playing Guan. And to round it out, we're going to have Andister in the jungle on one of his favorite gods, Tyr.
And over in the red jerseys, we have Aurora playing Odin in the jungle. We have Failure by Design playing Neath ADC. We have Rambozo playing Zhang Kui in the mid lane. We have Mini Pern playing support Sun Wukong. And we have Snoopy's Little Cupid playing Aphrodite in the solo lane. And for those of you who don't know, this is a best of 3 between Cognitive and Down to Frag. This is the second round of 3. First game went to the members of Down to Frag.
Yeah, and they played a dominating game, taking an early 5K lead. They eventually got it to 10K, and while Cognitive was able to steal Fire Giant, Down to Frag at the time had a 13K gold lead. They countered them under a tower, wiped them, pushed, eventually got the win, and Down to Frag just played a very good game against the reigning North American champions, not in this tournament, but in the standard Smite game tournaments, which are a little bit bigger than us, but we do hope to get up there one day.
Hashtag big dreams.
Big dreams, alright. And Down to Frag, like we said before, Down to Frag has drafted the same lineup, but they do have this this Zhang Kui instead of the Zeus, which I believe is okay, but I think the biggest thing is that Cognitive Gaming now has Zeus instead of the Poseidon, like we were talking about in lobby.
Yeah, and another thing you have to mention is MLC Stealth is playing that Zeus, and MLC Stealth is very comfortable with Zeus, as well as he is with Zhang Kui. So he knows how to play Zhang Kui, he knows how to go up against Zhang Kui, and he knows how to play Zeus. So it's going to be really interesting to see this mid lane matchup. Actually, he's already going to be bringing Zhang Kui down to a very dangerous amount of health. So, off the bat, we're already seeing the dominance that MLC Stealth is wanting to put onto the lane.
Aurora, though, gets knocked up by Andister over here in solo lane. Meanwhile, what happened in left lane was that Barracuda and Dare to Care were able to secure their buff and then immediately invade Down to Frags, keeping them away from it and poking them out. Actually, let's take a look. This Dare to Care is very low. It looks like we actually have more action in the dual lane. Very uncommon, actually, for early games. Most likely we see the damage going out in solo lane. But it looks like it's just going to be a stalemate.
Yeah, and that's a counter to the factor that we're talking about 2 healers in the solo lane. And actually, Andister's going to go ahead and push over Aurora, who's going to just casually walk away. Looks like he's going to be just fine. But yeah, you've got 2 healers in the solo lane, so both bruisers in the jungle are going to be just fine. And they're just... But yeah, we haven't talked about this solo lane matchup here. We have Healer A versus Healer B.
Raw wins. Raw's going to win until Mini Pern. I'm getting their names confused. Snoopy's Little Cupid is going to be able to full clear, which I believe is about level 6 or 7. That means he's going to use his birds and then going to use back off. And the back off is going to have to do enough damage to basically kill the minions before Raw is able to heal them up.
And over in the mid lane, we're going to see our first scuffle.
Mini Pern in a bad spot, though. Gets knocked up, doesn't even get to hog him, and they are slowed by Andister along with First Blood going to Dare to Care. He got condensed on there 3-1. I'm not sure if there was calls from his team, but he just put himself in a rough position and paid for it, unfortunately. First Blood to Cognitive Gaming this time.
Yeah, I think what he thought was going on possibly was that the members of Cognitive Gaming were going to elect to try and contest the right camps while he tries to ninja the left camps. But what it actually happened was they all 3 ganged up on him and he died.
Yeah, there wasn't much he can do there.
Sad story of a monkey that didn't.
Yeah, not much he could do there once he was in position. The best he could hope was honestly to get the mid camps, but not even able to do that because Andister had him knocked up and then hogged it himself. But not too much of a detriment, though. Only about an 800 gold lead. That's First Blood and maybe a little bit more farming, but nothing that can't come back is Dare to Care is going to constantly harass this Neath now. Sitting at level 5 along with Barracuda at 5, they have complete control of this lane now.
Meanwhile, dueling, both ADCs already have full Heartseeker build, and so now we're going to start seeing the battle of who's going to have the better ADC build and who's going to have those Heartseeker stacks first. And they're both playing the waiting game of just getting that last hit.
Yeah,
and denying the other one gold.
Dare to Care able to slightly zone out some experience here. Just gonna do too much damage with Tablet Assault. Barracuda's gonna be able to dash in if they look for to try to get gold, and once again he's gonna group it up. Dual lane probably going to be passive here. Neith is a very safe god, and I think most of the action we're going to be seeing now is going to be at these mid harpies, which are spawning soon. Once again, though, Minipern is running into Anister. Anister knows, trying to cut him off, but Minipern is going to ox away this time. He's not having any of it. He's not going to fall for the same trick twice, as there's 4 players at these left harpies for Cognitive.
Yeah, and that's what the meta is starting to evolve to. We're seeing a lot of teams really put an all-out effort into contesting these mid camps. Excuse me. Especially, considering how much gold they just overall offer. You don't want to give that up to the opposing jungler and to the opposing team, as Minipern's actually going to take a lot of damage here, getting 3 charges as well as quite a few archer shots here put onto him. So he's going to have to be a little careful, and it's probably going to have to back.
Yeah, we might have some engage going into the right. A great stun coming out from Soupy's Little Creeper, but he is going to get the Fearless and Power Cleave knock up on Aurora, but the healing is too much. A snipe comes out on Aurora, he's about half-life, now getting protections and damage reduced by Dare to Care. Dare to Care elects not to die this, but they are going to steal the blue, and a free blue buff, I'm sure they'll take it. Oh, but a cage happens. They're going to try to kill Omega here on Raw. Misses a couple autos. Not much he can do. We see the Lawbringer from Anister. Thought they would continue that fight, but they elect not to. Now we're actually sitting at a 1k lead, and now it's starting to matter. The 500 was okay. That was simply first blood. But now they're out farming them by 500. But we do see MLC Stealth getting dove in the middle. Oh, but a missed cudgel. But the last ghost is going to tick. A great kill coming out on mid lane.
And that was a very good kill by Zhonghui. It definitely put him back in a spot to where he's now a little bit better off competing with the Zeus. He's now about 200 gold ahead of the Zeus. And that's really going to help him out, especially when you consider what kind of damage that this god can put out if you're not careful. And so now he'll be able to safely heal as well as compete with, Zeus in the long run. And one thing we haven't talked about actually is the response of Zeus in the event of a Odin ultimate. I mean, while yes, we talked about how Zhonghui can benefit a Odin ultimate, let's talk about how dangerous it is for Odin to accidentally trap some of his teammates in there while Zeus is around.
Yeah, you have to be very careful, but I'd like to think Aurora is playing at a high enough level to know when to drop his ult, and when, if he drops it at a wrong time, able to instantly... oh, but look at left lane. The stun's going to come out onto Barracuda. He's going to mess out, getting almost killing here the Neath, but they're going to back off. That was a lot of damage. I don't think Failure by Design was expecting the damage coming out there, and once again, Bear showing why he's so good hitting all those auto attacks.
Yeah, and one thing you have to recognize here is that the support has been gone for a long time for Barracuda, so he's just naturally getting a lot more farm and a lot more experience than the Neath on the opposing team, because he's been just, kind of doing it all on his own. You look over at the gold difference, and it's reaching a little bit over 300.
Look at this top lane, though. We actually see Aurora get his buff stolen. We actually see MLC Stealth also very low in the back. The ghosts are out. We're going to see Failure by Design dove. Aurora also dove. Aurora is going to fall. But in the back lane, Zeus is being chased. Going to be picked up by Minipern this time. And now they're going to look to keep fighting. No, they're going to steal the blue. Zhonghui does not have his ult available, and there's nothing he can do, frankly. A 1-for-1, a stolen red, a stolen blue. Another positive trade coming out for Cognitive Gaming there.
Yeah, definitely a strong showing by Cognitive Gaming right now, especially after the last game. They didn't want to, give any impression that they're dejected or feeling down from last game. You look at the gold numbers right now, it's starting to push closer and closer towards 1.5k, and that's a very small lead difference right now, but they have progressively been, bumping it up just another notch, just taking their little advantages here and there, whether it be a kill here or mid camp there. And actually now, speaking of mid camps, it looks like both of which are going to the members of Down to Frag.
Yeah, and they actually got both last time as well. But no, Zeus is having none of it. The detonate's going. I couldn't tell. I could not tell who took it. I don't know if the expose evil or the detonate stole those. I believe it was detonate, though. We actually see Guan rotating in on this, and we do see actually Mini Pern gonna get one stack, and that's going to be it, as Dare to Care and Stealth are going to scare off Mini Pern, but that should be a stun there. Yeah. Some great poke, though, coming out from Zeus right now, not allowing Mini Pern to roam now that he's taken all that damage. And I want to take a look at this dual lane. Right now, it's a 1v1. Both players are, both supports have been roaming heavily, and now Barracuda, he was getting beat early last game pretty hard. Now, not only holding his own, but actually leading in this solo lane. And another stolen buff.
Barracuda is definitely a very strong Apollo player, and so it doesn't matter who you really throw up against him, he knows how to handle it in that situation, and he can just be a real animal if you just give him the time. Meanwhile, Tyr's going to try and fearless charge Jean Kui, who's going to go ahead and pop his ultimate, and now Jean Kui is getting chased, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to survive, actually, and he will indeed go down while Apollo rotated over here just for safe measure, and now they're all grouped up here on this mid tower, and they might go ahead and try and put a lot of poke damage onto it, if not go ahead and take it as they turn their attention over to Mini Pern and actually will pick up that kill. So now it's a 2-for-0 exchange, and it looks like a tower.
Yeah, there wasn't anything that Rambozo could do there. He went so deep trying to kill Stealth that he fell, and in turn, Mini Pern fell trying to defend the tower. Nothing he could do there, and this is going to be a rotation to Gold Fury, and this is going to be... we're almost seeing the opposite of what happened last time, in that Down to Frag took an early lead and then forced stuff. This time we're going to see Cognitive take the early lead and force stuff. They're going to take Gold Fury, and that's going to be a 4,700 gold lead, 5,300 experience lead. Right now, Mini Pern is sitting at 1 kill, 2 deaths. We have Rambozo at 1 kill, 1 death, and that's really all they've got going for them. Once again, Mini Pern having half the kills on the team. Last time I believe it was almost all of them, and while it's good that he is securing these, it's not going to the carries that need to take them.
Yeah, and that's just the way Mini Pern has been playing lately. As we saw him in these last few games, he's really been the person who's actually been securing the kills. And while last game that worked out very well for them, this game they might want to try a little bit harder to get those kills onto their serious damage dealers, especially Rambozo, who as a Jean Kui can do a lot of damage. I definitely am interested in the MLC build that he's going for so far. He went for cooldown boots and then immediately into Bancroft's talent. Now, when I first saw that trinket, I was wondering, well, wait, is he going for an early Polynomicon maybe? But instead, he elected to go ahead and pick up the Bancroft talent, which does quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, Polynomic on this early really doesn't make any sense at all. You're only going to be hitting for about 100 on it. Your magic power isn't that high. There's no reason to rush it until you get an item tree. But we actually see Dare to Care get stunned out after Tower Assault. We actually see Tyr going to blink in, going to misses. Neath is going to backflip again. But Cognitive Gaming is just owning. But we do see a fight here. A great blink and Odin ultimate coming out, trapping Stealth and Anister. Recall Demons is going out. MLC Stealth getting very low. We're actually going to see Miniature try to dive him. I don't think he's going to make it, though. He is going to chase, but he is going to fall to the hands of Stealth in the backline. Now Dare to Care getting very low. It's only a 1-for-0 trade as the rest of the backline on both teams elected to back off there. And that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah, now it looks like they want to try and kind of push a little bit onto this tower. I don't know if they exactly have the health to back up pushing this tower as much as they might, but at the same time, it doesn't look like Down to Frag wants to oppose them too strongly. Yeah,
not a very kind of... Oh, but we do see a blink coming. We're going to see beats activated by Neath, but Rambozo can do nothing about Barracuda's auto attacks, and once again, Neath is also going to fall to the auto attacks. I believe it was Barracuda who picked it up. We're actually going to see Aurora jump out there, realizing he can't do anything. Mini Pern's walking up. He has no ult available, though. 1 stacked, going to get messed up. 2 stacks, 3 stacks, going to get stunned now, but Detonate's not up. Now it is. They're going to take 2 towers now, and Down to Frag is just continuously losing members one by one in these fights, and Raw and Afro are kind of just having their own game. Neither of these guys have rotated at all, and look at that damage though coming out from back off.
Yeah, again, we mentioned it last game. Because of the builds that Aphrodite goes for, especially right now with the Doom Orb, she's just able to put out so much damage. And actually, after the Doom Orb in level 1 boots, she hasn't been back yet. So we're probably going to see finished boots by the time she returns back to base.
Yeah, she's going to finish those. She's going to get that heavenly agility. And, oh, excuse me, I was looking at Raw. My mistake, she's still in lane. But once again, Snoopy's little Cupid has been left alone. But this time, they don't have the lead. It's actually complete role reversal, as Cognitive Gaming right now at 14 minutes is sitting at an 8,300 gold lead, a 10k experience lead. I believe that is most notably on the No, it's just about generally 2 to 3 levels on everyone at this point. No one's really shining out that they're super far behind or super far ahead.
Yeah, right now Cognitive as a whole is playing very fluidly, getting a lot of objectives and doing things as a unit, as opposed to let's all just boast up this one player. I mean, while yes, Barracuda does have the most kills on his team, MLC Stealth has 2 kills of his own as well as 3 assists, so he's been a part of a lot. And even Dare to Care and Anister all have a kill and a lot of assists here. So you look throughout the team, and you know the only one who's not sharing kills and assists is Omega, and that's because he's playing RPG solo farm lane with Aphrodite off in the back.
Yeah, not much either of them to do, as Cog is going to force another tower, and that's going to be only 2 towers left, and they're looking for blood. We're going to see the blink on Ramboza. The power cleave combo is going to keep him in the air, and there's not much he can do. He's almost 1 hit away. The snipe is barely going to miss, but Anderson's going to finish it with an auto attack. Under mid tower, though, we do see a dive. Dare to Care in cavalry charge. Aurora's going to lock in Stealth, but the tower is on Dare to Care. We're going to see Stealth finish off Aurora. Just too much damage at this point. And we actually Dare to Care going very hard in the backline. Now 3v1. The root is going to miss. He's getting chased, but now the rest of Cog is here after taking that tower. We see multiple stacks come out. No one's 3 stacked though. And now they're going to go for the right tower. Just to note, Gold Fury is available and Fire Giant, and both can be done right now. But look in mid lane, actually Stealth getting left alone. Minipern's going to chase him. I think this is actually the real Minipern. Will the detonate come up? It does. One more auto attack and chain lightning, but a great heal, and Averall is going to keep him alive there. Snoopy's little Cupid making the plays to keep his support alive.
Yeah, we saw last game. Snoopy's little Cupid definitely did a lot of good things with Aphrodite, so no surprise there. But in response to this Aphrodite, look over at that Guan Yu second active. Weakening Curse. They said, nope, we do not want to deal with your shenanigans, Aphrodite. Take your heals elsewhere.
And down to Frag positioning around Fire Giant. I think they're going to go for it, because I think they believe that Cognitive is going for Gold Fury. Cognitive has gone for nothing, though. Do they have a ward? I think they had a ward. Yep. It's going to come in. We're going to see the raw side. It's getting very low. It's not low enough for kill range yet, and now it is a great knock-up, though, by Anderster. Down to Frag is going to secure that, but at what cost? 5-0. That is game.
I'm smelling an F6.
F6 or not, this game is over. Anderster came in. He fearless power cleaved 3 members just as the kill range for the Fire Giant came in, and just kept them CC'd. Anderster doing so much damage to them because of how big he is, and that was game. Good job. Down to Frag had to take a risk, being down about 8 to 10. I believe it was 10k at the time. Just didn't work out for them now.
I mean, you know, they saw that they were down, they saw that they were disadvantaged, and so they wanted to try and take, you know, a large objective to kind of even out the scaling back into the game. But all in all, just like not able to completely.
Minipern's in chat. I believe. Can you talk? You were kind of cutting out there, Shadow.
Yeah, I just fixed it. But yeah,
okay.
Ultimately they just weren't able to finish off the Fire Giant safely. There was wards around the Fire Giant, so it was a good effort. It was a good thought, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, but, you know, we see Minipern in chat there. Worth got FG. I don't know about Worth, but you did get FG. Great secure there. Got wiped, though. 1-for-1 now in this finals, and we're gonna see an exciting game 3. Both games kind of went the same way, but on opposite sides. First, we saw Down to Frag dominate Cognitive Gaming, take an early lead, and extend it. While it did last a lot longer than the second game, they won it pretty securedly, pretty safely. And on the other side, in game 2, we saw Cog dominate and win an earlier game, but that was because of Down to Frag's risky play looking for that Fire Giant.
Yeah, and you just look around at the player damage across the board for, Cognitive Gaming. It's all pretty close to even, with the exception of MLC Stealth playing Zeus, but it's Zeus. Meanwhile, over on the other side, the damage was close to even, but it was all very low. And the healing, actually, Aphrodite didn't even match up to Dare to Care playing Guan Yu, which, as an Aphrodite, that's something you can't do. But granted, she was playing her solo lane RPG the whole game.
Yeah,
but good games by both teams.
So I'm now in lobby. You want to toss a follow?
Toss a follow.
Sorry, a spectate. I was typing and I have push to talk to you. I do need to change that. A spectate onto Rambozo. I'm going to talk to them. We're going to get in game, bring you game 3. I'm going to throw us over to a waiting screen. Do you have anything to say before we toss us over there?
We will be going into Game 3. First match went to the members of Down to Frag, while second match actually went to the members of Cognitive Gaming, as you just saw. So stick around. We will have Game 3 ready for you, and after that we will have a giveaway of the 100K ticket down in Atlanta, Georgia. It will be awesome. If you aren't going to go, you could sell it. So go ahead, guys. Stick around. Be sure to follow and everything like that. And actually, we're already in the pick and
We
bands.
are in the game. Let me set up this real quick and whatever. We'll just bring you in here. All right, there we go. I'm gonna set up spectator. You're gonna see it here. It is going to caps lock for me here, and Geb first ban once again. On the other side, though, Cognitive Gaming. What do you think they're going to ban here? And it's going to be Zeus. We're not going to see Zeus in Game 3. We saw him in the first 2 games, which was very uncommon. But this time, we do see him make it through.
Yeah, both teams electing to not have to deal with Zeus, and therefore not having to pick up Odin or anyone else that would complement Zeus. So definitely a ban that I was kind of waiting for after Game 1, but ultimately, he will not be around for Game 3. Now, on the side of Aurora, I'm thinking that they're going to ban out Tyr. They don't want to give Anister back that Tyr. They don't want to be in the same situation where they get CC locked forever and a half at a tight corner like Gold Fury or Fire Giant. So definitely a smart ban there.
Yeah, very standard coming out. They do not ban Freya this time, so that is available for Anister to play, something we haven't seen him play yet, but he is very good at.
Yeah, and so now we're going to see an Agni ban out here, and it's going to be interesting to see what Aurora decides to pick up here as the first pick for the members of Down to Frag here. Nemesis is still on the table, which is surprisingly something we haven't seen out of either team throughout this entire match. And Zhangqi will actually be the one who is highlighted here.
Yeah, Zhangqi still very strong. Was not very effective for them last game, but they did really dominate early, and there wasn't much he could do. Rambozo was able to pick up some kills along getting flustered here, in conjunction with Mini-Pern's rotations onto Stealth, but overall just not able to do enough against Cog's dominant lineup, and it is locked in. And what do you think we're going to see in response here?
Again, I'm curious as to whether or not they're going to go ahead and elect to pick up Nemesis here. But ultimately, I think they're going to pick up the jungler. That's what I was about to say as they locked in Thanatos. Thank you.
Yep. No Freya here. They're going to give Anister that Thanatos, which he is just as effective on. A very snowbally character, which if you get kills early, devastates early to mid game. Falls off a bit late, but is still very useful with his ultimate, and he does chunk late game, just maybe not as effective as other assassins are.
Yeah, But ultimately, they still like to play the early game out very strongly. As we saw last game, they do like to go very aggressively in those early game situations. So Frag is going to have to play very carefully, seeing this Thanatos out in the open right now. And I think they're going to go ahead. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and elect to pick up their dual lane here. They like the Sun Wukong. They've liked him all game here. I'd really like to see the Sun Wukong start sharing the sugar. So if a kill is able to be picked up by someone other than him, let him have it. Let him have it. You need all the firepower you can get right now. And so now we're probably going to see Barracuda and we're probably going to see the opposing dual lane here, in my opinion. I think we're going to see possibly, Neath and Bacchus?
I don't know if they're going to do Bacchus again. Did not work out too well for Dare to Care in game one. They're probably going to go for something more comfortable. Once again, Guan, yeah, he's very good, very comfortable with that. And Barracuda is going to go Neath. They just switched it up because now he doesn't need to trade. One thing to note, though, is that Raw in the slow lane, once again, a very dominant Godin. We saw that Snoopy's little Cupid is very comfortable playing that Aphrodite against him. Did very well, but it wasn't really... It wasn't meant to be. The rest of the team did not perform as well, and unfortunately the Afro didn't do anything in that second game, but an Ao Kuang locked in.
So, no more Aphrodite. That's established. We're going to see a Zhang Kui in the solo lane with an Ao Kuang in the middle lane, and so now all we're waiting to see is what jungler they decide to use in opposition to a Thanatos here. And Bastet. I like the Bastet.
Yeah, something you don't see often, but is very effective. For those who don't know, her recent buff, and a Hebo though, but the recent buff about a month ago, basically when she uses an ability right after that, it's going to do, I believe it's 15 or 25% more damage. I'm going to go on 25 because I think it's a very strong passive, and we're going to see if Aurora can win early, because if he doesn't win early, it's going to be bad for him.
But definitely one of the things to mention here is the Agni ban by Cognitive has helped out this Bastet, because now Hebo has to use his ultimate if he wants to escape Bastet cats, or at least a sprint, and that goes the same for all the other members of Cognitive, with the exception of Guan Yu. Neath has her backflip, but at the same time, Bastet has a lot of kit to be able to catch up to the characters like Neath. So Bastet is a really strong jungler here. I do like the pickup. It's going to be really interesting to see if she's able to do what it is that she needs to do to keep Down to Frag a factor in the jungle in the early game against the Thanatos.
Yeah, and I want to talk real quick about this Guan Yu Neath lane, because I think it's very strong. I believe it was favored by, who was the duel? I believe it was Allied and Jaja back when they played for Cognitive Gaming, way before, when the teams were much different, but it was probably their favorite dual lane combo. It is not only very safe, but very sustain oriented. Guan Yu having a heal, Neath having a self heal, and able to combo a lot off of Neath Weave in case they get ganked. And Barracuda loves Neath. Barracuda, don't get me wrong, plays an amazing Apollo and amazing AMC, but I think his Neath play is some of the best just because of some of the weaves he hits. Being able to set up a lot in lane that most people don't expect, and just be able to turn around a losing lane into a winning lane.
Yeah, arguably he is one of the best Neath players in North American scene. But, we can't count out the members of Down to Frag here. We've seen a lot of good things from Mini Pern in his Sun Wukong, and we've seen a lot of good plays out of Aurora. So, definitely excited to see this matchup, guys. This is the best of three. This is the final matchup. Finals of the finals of the finals here. This is the last of it all.
Yeah, we're going to toss you over to waiting screen now while we get this set up. But one thing I want to know, there is a blink on the bottom. For those who don't know, you can buy a pair of no-scope glasses, and each one sold is going to give us money to go for future prizes in the Parabellum tournaments. What we're hoping to do is turn it into a monthly finals, kind of like how other tournaments are run, where the first 4 weeks are going to be for seeding, they're going to be for points, maybe gems, and then the finals are going to be for real prizes, either money or kind of swag to take home. Either way, though, this is Game 3 of the finals. Parabellum 5v5. It's going to be a good one. Game 1-1, Cognitive versus Down to Frag. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back and we're ready to bring you Game 3 of the Parabellum Finals. We're going to have these two teams at it once again, Down to Frag versus Cognitive Gaming. To start off, we're going to have Down to Frag in the blue. We're going to have Aurora on that jungle Bastet, Rambozo in the middle playing Ao Kwang. Failure by Design, the 80 carry in that left dual lane played, Jablanc. And then Mini Pern once again on Sun Wukong playing support. To round it out, Snoopy's Little Cupid in solo lane on Zhang Kui.
And in the red jerseys, we have Megatron playing Hebo in the solo lane, Barracuda playing ADC, Neath. We have Anister playing Thanatos in the jungle, MLC Stealth playing Ra in the middle lane, and Dare to Care playing support Guan Yu. And off the bat, I don't know what Mini Pern's doing. I think he's having a little dance off with his Neath right now.
He needs to be careful. He doesn't want to have to get his 70 true transformations and basically have to bird away early. Needs to be very careful, but he is going to just heal that up, and it's going to be a no trade. But we do have this Hunter's Bow coming out from Jablanc, which is going to help him with his clear against Neath. Jablanc, one of his weaknesses is that his clear is very bad, especially if his blue buff gets stolen early. He can't really do much in lane without it, not able to spam branching bolas, but this Hunter Bow is going to allow him to attack do damage to any minions grouped up and do that 50% bonus damage, or 50% arcing damage. It's bugged though. It is doing 50% currently.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, right now, definitely a good pickup for Jablanc if you are using branching bowls as your first item. And so nothing out of the ordinary here. Bastet actually tried to steal and did successfully steal the speed buff. Didn't actually pick it up.
He was not able to pick it up, but he was able to deny it, which is just as important. Not only getting that XP, but denying the XP to the jungler. So that's a huge swing for him, and his red buff is still available. They were not able to get their blue buff, though, but I think they're just going to do that shortly. Anister's still sitting at level 1, and now they're going to rotate to it.
Yeah, after they were able to deny the speed buff, they just wanted to go ahead and press the lane advantage a little bit so that Hebo and Thanatos didn't get any wise ideas and try and jump them at blue. And it looks like they will be able to get this blue, but they will not have a wave when they come back out, so they're probably gonna play it safe, take the back entrance, and let that wave kind of go through.
Dare to Care though, getting very low in the dual lane, and but the archer damage is real. Oh, and first blood gonna go to Barracuda. And that was just a simple misplay. Branching bullets, while very strong. The stun out on Derrick. He might get a turnaround kill though, but the heal is probably too real. Derrick taking a lot of damage, and Minipern's gonna walk out of there. Meanwhile, mid lane going to get picked up by Anderster there. I'm sorry I missed that. I thought another kill was going to happen in left lane, and this is not a good start for down to Frag, as Anderster's going to go and get his speed buff in any way he can. Going to steal it this time since his own was stolen.
Yeah, it was a traditional gank by Thanatos in the early game. Leave the soul lane a little early. Wait until the AO comes just a little bit out of tower. 1-3, dead noodle. There was not much else to it besides that. And so that led to a nice kill for the Thanatos. And now you have to start worrying about, you know, how much damage this Thanatos is going to start putting out now that he's ahead. Because Bastet is a little bit too far behind, and she's not even able to contest this red buff that is definitely going to be stolen here. She's actually might be in
This
trouble.
is bad though. She's gonna jump back, and they're ready for it. That as the Neath ult comes out, and that's gonna be a dead Aurora. It's now gonna be 3-0. They're going to give it to Stealth in that mid lane. Meanwhile, nothing else happening here in soul lane. But I want to go back to branching bullets and why that first split happened. Branching bullets, while very good for lane clear, you hit the enemy player sometimes with it, and that's what happened. We saw Barracuda simply walk up, get hit by branching bullets, and then the Jablanc simply took aggro on those archers and just got half-lifed by them, just stood in them too long, didn't expect. But we do actually see Anderster in the air, gonna land on Minipern. The silence is still up. He's gonna wait until the bird comes out. The snipe is going to miss. Now there's the sun's gonna turn back onto Aurora, gets slowed out by Squall there. The Ao Kuang blue, but the Spirit's Tempest is going to hit no one. We're going to see Aurora jump in. The heal is real, though. Aurora very low. Going to try to zone out Stealth with the Tornado. The auto attack missed, and it's going to be a 0-for-0 trade, but very careful. But now we actually see Failure by Design. Going to rotate over. Going to go into Rising Dagger. A great Squall. We're going to see autos and the Poison Arts, and that's going to be a dead Raw. Now, actually, the Cavalry Charge comes out. Failure by Design just going to try to stay in tower to give extra damage. He knew he was dead. A 1-for-1 trade. A Roth for a Jablanc.
Yeah, and unfortunately for the members of Down to Frag, Thanatos was there to get a little extra gold from that, just through assist gold. So now he's getting a little bit more and a little bit more. And I want to go back to that little engagement they had at the back Harpies. That was amazing. Anderster knew that he was in trouble, but he stuck it out because he knew that MLC Stealth was on his way, and he knew the boundaries of Thanatos as a character, and that is what we call knowing your character, knowing the limits, knowing how long you can survive and what you can do with said character in a tight spot. And he stuck it out. Raw came over and helped him. They almost actually picked up a kill, and both of them were able to get out at the moment.
Yeah, we're going to see Minipern secure those left Harpies. Anderster elects not to try to counter him. Knows that Minipern can do a lot of damage and just doesn't want to deal with it. They're just going to trade. They have a lead. Why risk it? That lead is actually now at 1,300 gold. It was actually just lead gold, 1337, 2,700 experience lead. And right now, Cognitive has complete control of this game. I'm actually expecting Anderster to try and counter this speed when it comes up if there is no other ganks available.
Now, one thing I'd like to point out is if we look at Derrick's build, he actually has an Ankh halfway build,
yes,
as well as guard boots. And, you know, this is kind of a result of the changing style of the support meta, where you're no longer sitting in lane as much as you used to. Now you're starting to see supports roam as much as a jungler, honestly. And so it's starting to become a point to where most supports don't even bother getting Watcher's Gift just simply because they're not getting the full usage out of it.
Yeah, we actually saw a dive on both players. On the left, we saw Barracuda and Dare to Care dive that Jablanc, unable to get him in there, forced out, took too much damage. And then right, we actually see Minipern in soul lane, something that you don't see often. The support roaming to that soul lane, especially this early. He got a stun on a Hebo, forcing out the ult. Hebo cannot deal with that damage, and that's a free ult. That's going to keep Zhonghui fairly safe in lane for the next 90 seconds. Look at Anderster. Like I said, he's going for that speed. He knows the timers, not only on his own, but with the new update he does, but they're all rotating in there. His ultimate is available. He wants to secure it. He does get it. Aurora getting very low. Gonna pod cats. Anderson's gonna walk out. Took a free speed buff along the way.
And he took a Bastetto with him. He said, you see.
Yep. Go.
So now they're going to go ahead and gather around this left side Harpy, and it looks like they're not, the members of Down to Frag are not going to be able to contest this very well, if at all. And just the sheer disregard by this Raw. I mean, he just walked right up to Mini Pern and said, "Excuse me, are you level 6? I can't see you." And so he just walked right up to him, didn't care if he was going to Tiger Form or anything. That and the fact that he has 2 other members of his team next to him. And actually, we might have a small engagement here as Guan Yu's going to go ahead and start his Tau Assault. They're going to go all jump onto this Thanatos, and they're not going to be able to lock him down. Now, Al Kwang ultimate comes, but he's deceased now. Nothing left from him. But Stet's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. She doesn't have her jump anymore, but a good beat is going to save her from taking a searing pain right to the face. And she's actually going to have to get out of here, but she keeps wanting to stay just a little bit longer, and now she's finally out of the situation. So now they're going to go ahead and deny her red, and that's going to be an engagement in favor of Cognitive Gaming.
Yeah, every buff is Anister's buff at this time. He's invaded her speed twice. He's invaded her red twice. He's even invaded the small harpies once. And right now, Anister is just shutting down this Bastet. Bastet is a very early game god. Kind of like Thanatos in a way, but right now, sitting at level 6, does not even have boots completed, and while Anister doesn't either, I'm sure he has enough gold on hand to do that when he wishes. And right now, Barracuda is winning this duel lane. The poke is real, the root is going to miss, and just a bit of a trade, but Aurora's coming, gonna look for a gank. Backflip still available. Are they gonna keep this fight up? And no. Barracuda's gonna recognize it. Great warding by Dare to Care is going to keep him alive as he just backs off of the gank. Aurora finally level 7, but the snowball is pretty real right now. Cognitive Gaming, 3k gold lead, 6.7k experience lead, and they're controlling the mid harpies.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to talk about is Omega in the solo lane, in the solo lane right now, who's just been playing his own little farm RPG as Ra takes out Bastet. Meanwhile, over in the mid lane, did you catch that?
The kill. What had happened there was Neath ulted Aurora on that Bastet, and that just set up the perfect ultimate for the MLC Stealth Raw, and it hit, and that was GG. It was almost her entire life in 2 abilities. I believe it was about 80% of life. And look at this Ao Kuang skin, though. You probably can't see it, but on my screen, there's a blue Ao Kuang running around as Rambozo has to pop sprint as Raw and Thanatos are going to rotate in, but look at left lane. They want to dive this. Dare to Care is smelling blood. He's going to get the Talu Assault off. The poison darts are real. I don't know if he has Rising Jaguar available, but he does have Darkest Knives. He Rising Jaguars a little bit early. Dare to Care getting very low. He knows he can't escape. Dare to Care is going to escape as Neath is going to pick up the kill. Thanatos now going to rotate to this as well. This is going to be a 4-man push on this lane, and are they going to keep going? No, I think they're going to go for gold as Zhang Kui is chasing down Omega here in solo lane. They're not going to have enough damage, though. They're going to have to back off. So they gave up a tower, and now Gold Fury, unless Mini Pern is able to steal it, and he has been securing objectives pretty well. They're going to reset it, though. They're having none of Mini Pern's steals this time. Rambozo very low, gonna Spirit Tempest. Barracuda is going to run for it and juke it now, but now he's in trouble. Talu Assault and gonna be finished off by Talu Assault. Silenced out his Mini Pern, and now the Raw Snipe's going to finish him off. Barracuda's looking for a stun here, and he's gonna get it on Aurora. Omega's gonna pick up a double. Surrender comes out. That's going to be a good game. Well played to both teams, but Cognitive Gaming is going to take this Parabellum Finals 2-1. Wow.
Yeah, that was definitely a very dominant game. And, you know, I said it 2 games ago. MLC Stealth Raw play is just nasty. It's just very disgusting. I mean, he does not miss his ultimates, and so you just saw mid lane Raw just dominate. But another thing to mention is just the Neath on Barracuda. I mean, he just does an amazing job himself. He always throws out very, very key ultimates, as well as doing very well in the lane himself. But one of the scarier thoughts right now for me was if that game had lasted longer, this Evo has been playing solo farm for so long. I
Yes.
mean, look at the Doom Orb, look at the Golden Sash that probably was going to turn into a Warlock Sash. If that game had lasted longer, I wonder how scary that would have gotten with that Evo.
Yeah, that was crazy. I'm gonna toss this over to Camps, and for those of you here, don't leave. We actually have a giveaway to the 100K tournament coming up here. Even if you don't go, even if you can't go, you are able to sell that ticket there. They sell for $30, but you know, I don't think there's any more available. You might, if you hold on to it, you might be able to even sell it for more. In addition to that, I believe we have a link on the bottom of the page if you guys want to check it out. We're selling no-scope glasses. Parabellum is trying to get bigger, trying to get this tournament growing. And one way we can do that is if you buy some of these glasses, we get money to put towards prize pools. We're trying to turn it into a monthly thing where we have the first 4 weeks of seeding, and the monthly final is going to be either money or swag that you can take home, maybe glasses themselves. But I want to thank you for supporting us. Talk about scalping here, Ariston. You didn't hear that from me. I never suggested. I just said it's a possibility. Ariston, do you want to tell me how to work the giveaway, or are you going to take over and do the giveaway?
Adonis, don't
What?
forget to talk about your own information.
Oh, my own. Yeah, right. That's probably the most important, guys. I'm gonna drop some stuff in chat. You can follow me at SmiteAdonis on Twitter. You can follow my Twitch at twitch.tv/Adonis1. And I'm actually going to, in about 2 hours, I'm actually gonna be on Smite Pro for my week trial for the 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. slot. Big boy stuff now. Shadow, can you drop your info as well?
I can. I am ShadowboyG at Twitter and ShadowboyG at Twitch. You can catch me doing random shenanigans. I'll be putting this in the chat. Usually have a good time. Be sure to check out Adonis. I think I'm pointing the right way. Be sure to check out. Wait,
No, wrong way. Other way. Other way.
Wrong way. Wrong way.
There we go. There we go.
Check out Adonis at Smite Pro. That's really exciting for this guy.
Yeah, and I do not have Chrome, Ariston, so I can't roll. Or I don't have the extension. Alright guys, thank you for showing up though. We had, what, 250 viewer hype today, guys? Huge! So we're going to get this sorted out. You're just going to see our pretty faces. Trinded is incoming. Let me talk to him. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to drop stream, and Trindon is going to come, and he's going to take over and do the role for the stream. Let me just set it up before I drop it. Alright guys, I'm going to be dropping. This is Adonis. I have my co-caster here, Shadowboy. Do you have anything to say before I drop it, Shadowboy? One last word, you get the final word.
Ah, God. I have so many people I'd like to thank for this last word. No, but great tournament today, guys. Thank you all for coming out and playing, to all the teams and players. Thank you to all the viewers out there who came out to watch this Parabellum Weekly Tournament. Again, this is the Parabellum Weekly Tournament. It is every week. Check-ins end, or sign-ups end at 6. Check-ins end at 7, and that is also when the tournament officially starts. Be sure to check out Parabellum at Twitter. The information is all below. And again, guys, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Smite on.